India's top court has postponed hearings on a new citizenship law that's provoked protest and violence nationwide. Supreme Court judges want to get more details about the legislation from the government before considering petitions. Well, the law makes it easier for non-Muslims from Afghanistan, Bangladesh and Pakistan to gain Indian citizenship. Critics say that's blatant discrimination by a government they accuse of driving a Hindu nationalist agenda. 4 people have been killed in demonstrations that have spiralled out of control since the law was introduced. Despite this, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is refusing to back down. Al Jazeera's Sohail Rahman spoke exclusively with the Supreme Court senior advocate in New Delhi.
The focus of the country's attention has been on a university in the capital that saw a great deal of violence on Sunday as police fought with students and civil society over the issue of the Citizenship Amendment Act. The complaints made by the public have now come to the Supreme Court, and joining me now is Colin Gonsalves, who's the senior advocate to the Supreme Court. Thank you for joining us on Al Jazeera. You were obviously in court petitioning the Supreme Court. There were statements made by the Chief Justice. What's your overall impression of how your case went and the conclusion made by the Chief Justice of India?
Well, the Supreme Court said that instead of hearing it in the apex court straight away, without going first to the High Court, may not be appropriate, since the Supreme Court would like to get the impressions of the High Court first. And so the parties have been sent back to the High Court, and it is kept in the High Court today at 2:30 for hearing.
In terms of the Citizenship Amendment Bill, this is what is the central, pivotal, antagonistic piece of legislation that is upsetting Indians across the country. What's your legal opinion about whether this violates the Constitution and the essence of the Constitution?
Well, it clearly violates Article 14 of our Constitution, which speaks of equality, which is equality for all people, irrespective of the religion that they profess. Now, what's happened is the Constitutional Amendment Act leaves out 500,000 Muslims and allows regularization of roughly 3 times that number of Hindus and other communities. So it is discrimination on the basis of religion. Non-Muslims come in, you can be regularized in India as citizens, and Muslims, similarly situated, you will be probably put in detention centers and incarcerated.
Where does the case go now?
The case, the Constitutional Amendment Act case, is pending in the Supreme Court for determination. That will happen soon. And as far as our case is concerned, relating to the very brutal assault on the students of Jamia, and I saw this personally. I went to the police stations and saw young people being brutally beaten. And I saw it in the hospitals where they were full of bandages and broken legs and so on. Our case will be heard by the High Court at 2:30 this afternoon.
Colin Gonsalves, thanks very much for joining us here on Al Jazeera. Thank you very much for your time. And of course, the focus of attention here at the Supreme Court on Wednesday, as you can see, lots of media behind me, is for lawyers from the state of Assam as they take their petitions to the 3-man bench of the Supreme Court, headed by the Chief Justice. In the meantime, the internet has been restored in Assam and the curfew has been lifted. But the country watches this story unfold on a daily basis.